We meet a lot of people every day, from the neighbor next door, the grocery owner down the street, the bus conductor at the park, busy commuters in the bus, colleagues at work, and on and on. Some of these people we are familiar with, some we meet for the first time, some just in passing, and others eventually come to influence our lives permanently. The first thing you should know is that not all meetings are casual. God places people in our lives at strategic points and for different reasons. In the same way, the devil also introduces people to influence our lives negatively. It takes wisdom and the Spirit of God to be able to know the difference, because there are people who appear to be good but indeed are wolves in sheep clothing. Apart from differentiating the good from the bad, it is also necessary to know the reason some people are placed in your life. Are they there to guide you for a while or a particular season? Are you supposed to handle some tasks together and move on? Or have they been placed in your life so you could be together forever? These are questions that need answering so you do not end up pushing away the right person and welcoming the wrong one. So how do you know that God has placed a person in your life to be together? Here are a few pointers. You have the same belief in God. This point seems very obvious, but it needs re-emphasizing. Most believers today are very permissive with issues of their faith and accept anything and anybody. God expects us to love everyone equally, but He does not expect us to associate with them in the same way. If God has put someone in your life for to be together, then it must be someone after His own heart. When it comes to the issue of faith, there is no form of compromise with God. His words clearly state that you should not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, and the reason for this is simple. They can influence your faith and turn you away from God. Evil communication corrupts a good manner. That is what the good book says. Look through the scriptures, even from the days of Abraham. God has always been specific about the kind of people His children married. They were not to marry from other nations, and when they did, the result was usually catastrophic. This should be the first sign you look out for, the litmus test that confirms if God is involved. And do not be deceived by mere words. Anyone can claim to be Christian these days. However, by their fruits you shall know them. What kind of fruits do they produce? Do they bear the fruits of the Spirit, show love to people around them? What about their passion and zeal for the work of God? That is another thing we will talk about, but first, confirm if they share the same belief and serve the same God. If the person does not believe in God as you do, there is no way you can be together. Or rather, you should not be together. They are with you in your difficult moments. Nobody likes to think of difficult moments or anticipate them, but they are there all the same. God places people in our lives for strategic times like these. Most people will stay during the good times and when things are running smooth, but only a few will remain when you are down and facing challenges. One advantage to moments like this is that it helps you streamline your real friends from the mere sycophants and parasites. When David was in trouble with Saul, he had Jonathan to help him. Jonathan supported him even though he was the apparent heir to the throne. He believed that God had anointed David to be king in the place of his father and was willing to help him achieve God's plan for his life, even at the expense of his father losing the throne. Obviously, God placed Jonathan in David's life for a time like that. In some cases, God uses the pain and troubles we experience to bring people into our lives, and you can tell if you are meant to be together by their actions and responses when things are not going well. Still, using the example of David during his flight from King Saul, others who were destitute and in one problem or the other came to meet him at the cave of Adullam. These were the men who constituted his army and became captains and generals. They were men with whom he fought many battles and came out victorious. Who stands by you in difficult times? Who is that person that will not leave when you are going through hardships? It is a sign that God has placed them in your life to be together. The person invests in you. When God wants to work, He does not come down from heaven to do it Himself. Rather, He works through men, and that is why He puts men in our lives. If you are meant to be together, such a person would not mind investing in your life. Jonathan risked so much for David, both because of the love and the faith he had in him. When a person invests in your life, it shows that they are not just there in the meantime. They are interested in your growth as a person and different areas of your life. Such a person would support your dreams and ambitions, provide moral support and encouragement, and even help your spiritual life. They want to see that you are in line with your God-given assignments and would do everything to ensure you make it. When you have someone like this, it makes the journey of life much easier. You pursue the same cause. This does not necessarily imply that you will agree on everything. However, when it comes to core issues that concern your life and affects your destiny, you can be sure you have someone in your corner. It can be sometimes difficult to find someone who believes in your vision and is ready to go all the way. One way by which you can tell that God has placed someone in your life is the level of persistence they have despite everything. Take a look at Elijah and Elisha. Elisha was someone we could have described as wealthy. He could have decided to stick to farming and build an empire for himself, but immediately he met Elijah. He left all that he had and followed him. Even at the point of departure, while other sons of the prophet were informing Elisha that his master would be taken from him, he stood by Elijah till the very end. They believed in the same course, and after the departure of Elijah, Elisha took over and followed the same line, standing as a prophet for the nation of Israel. God does not give us assignments and then leave us to them. He will provide help in the form of people that will help you in your race. The person God has placed in your life will share the same passion, have the same drive and believe in your course, such that even when you lose sight of the vision, they are there to remind you and keep you going. That way, you know you are meant to be together. They don't give up on you. Sometimes we find ourselves making the same mistakes, falling over and over again and exhibiting the same weakness, such that we are even tempted to give up on ourselves. But then, there is this one person that does not give up on us and then telling us we can become better and reach our goals. They bring out the best in us and make us a better version of ourselves. Look at Naomi and Ruth. Naomi had lost everything she had, husband, sons, wealth, and almost everything she owned. She had lost all hope and decided to return to Israel. But the challenge was that she was going back in a worse condition than she had left some years ago. Now she was left with her daughters-in-law and, having lost faith in herself, told them to return to their families to make new lives for themselves. But Ruth persisted and refused to return despite Naomi's insistence. She saw something in the woman that even Naomi herself failed to see and was ready to risk it all to go with her. We all need people like that in our lives who would not give up on us no matter the prevailing situation. They can see the hidden abilities within us and help us achieve our goals and become better people. They reinforce the things that God has spoken about us in His words. When you have such a person in your life, you should know without doubt that God has put them there for you to be together. Together, you will achieve more and go far in life. You find peace and fulfillment with them. Every good and perfect gift comes from God, and He is the one that makes one rich without adding sorrow. A person that gives you peace of mind and with whom you find fulfillment can only be someone God has placed in your life. With others, there are chances that you enjoy certain benefits from your relationship with them, but there will still be lapses one way or the other. If it is God that has placed you together, then your union will be a perfect one with the person. Perhaps not perfect in the eyes of the world, but one that will bring completeness and allow you both to fulfill your God-given purpose.